Welcome to Broker to Broker, brought to you by AIM, Association of Independent Mortgage Experts. I'm your host, JP Hussey of the Hussey Team Mortgage Advisors. And today, well, it's Friday the 13th. It's not going to go, but today I got my boy, Christopher Pell, Topher. So I didn't know that you said Topher, and because of Chris Topher.
Yeah, that's it.
So I learn something every day. My brother's Chris, so there you go.
They're going to go home and call him Topher.
That's right. Trust me, that's always being called now. But you are the COO of Garden State Home Loans.
Correct.
Yep. COO, Chief Operations Officer, am I right?
Operating
Officer. Yeah. So today's going to be a bit different from the other podcasts we did because you're not on the front line sales.
Correct.
Right. You're more of the operations guy.
Yes.
So this is going to be a great podcast for everybody out there, just because it's going to be different on how to run your business on that side of it, the systems, right?
Correct.
So let's dive in now, because we want to know more about you. I mean, I know you, but I don't know everything about you. Yep. I know you got kids. We talked a little bit beforehand. But tell us a little bit about you, where you grew up. Was it Jersey?
Jersey, right? Yeah. Born and raised New Jersey.
Cool.
So I've been in the mortgage industry now for a little over 16 years.
16, okay. Yeah. So that puts us back to 2003-ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
So first 4 years were sales.
Got it.
By far, not the best salesperson, lower tier. However, my background's actually in science, biology. So
cool.
More of an operational type of person,
okay.
right? A little trial and error. Certain procedures or things, right? So you follow a process with scientists. Yeah, it's what you do. You spend in 5 hours in labs. That's what you're doing, following processes and procedures. So yeah, I started in industry on a whim.
How'd you get in? Like, what made you go mortgages?
I was in college. I was working at a gym, front desk, and doing personal training. And I had just graduated, and I wanted to do medical sales. Okay. So I applied, got interviews, and the biggest downfall was I didn't have sales experience, right? So it was tough being in college for 4 years and spending time in labs. You don't really have time to go get sales experience. So a guy at the gym in the mortgage industry, he's like, hey, come work for me. We'll pay you $25,000 a year plus commission. Meanwhile, I was making $750 an hour. I was like, $25,000. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, right?
Do it. Sign me up. I'll do it. 6 months to a year, I'll do it, and then I'll go back to what I want to do, right? So I took the job, and 16 years later, here I am.
What type of company was it? Was it a broker? Was it bank?
I was a bank, yeah. So we used to do our own warehouse lines. I worked actually in the lending tree division, so all our leads came from that base. Okay. So we underwrote, funded all our own loans. We did broker most of our subprime type of stuff, but it really wasn't a big piece of our pie, probably like 2% of our business. So I got into the broker world in 2007. And that was like eye-opening, right? Because you're in this mold of everything's underwritten here, everything is funded here, there's nothing else outside of here, right? And then you get in the broker world, you're like, whoa, I got these options, right?
Yeah, it's totally different. Yeah, I mean, I started at Wells Fargo, so bank.
Yep.
Then went to a couple smaller correspondents, got my ass kicked by Garden State a couple times. Then over here, so it's just a totally different, especially you being a systems guy.
Yep.
And I'm more a sales guy. I'm just always selling. Yeah. But systems, it's totally different from bank to broker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
And so I joined the broker side in 2007, initially as sales. First couple of months I was doing it, and I had some clients that I had from my previous job that followed me over and had some of that business going on, but it just still wasn't clicking, right?
Were you always a very systematic type guy on the sales side too?
I didn't originate a lot, but whatever I did closed, right? And I spent time in guidelines and understanding how to structure a loan and what things are needed. And there was just a point where loans were going into processing, and the same issue was like happening over and over and over and over again. And it's just like, well, why aren't you seeing that?
Yeah.
Like, how does that keep happening to you? Like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you picking up? Why are you understanding these things? So the owner of Garden State Home Loans right now, Justin, came to me when I was he was with me at the time in 2007 when I went to the broker side. And he's like, well, why don't you just try processing? He's like, you're really good at like putting files together and all this stuff. I was like, all right, I'll try it. And
your whole life's been trial and error.
Yeah, it has. Well,
everyone's has, but no, I see what's happening.
And I talk about it all the time. Like, some of my best successes and some of the best processes I've done is been a result of failures, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
We were
afraid
just
to fail.
speaking about that,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not afraid to fail, and I welcome it sometimes because it gives you a different perspective on things, and you're like, okay, well, this is where we're weak at. This is where we suck at, right? Let's get better here, and we're always looking to get better. By far, the process like we have, yes, it works, but it's not perfect, right? No process is ever
never gonna
perfect.
be perfect,
No,
yeah.
and we're always looking to tweak it and make things better, and we're not afraid to fail. When things within my department happen where something goes sideways, I don't look at it as a negative, right? It's like, okay, how do I put that person in my department in a better position to succeed?
Yeah, that's great to have in any company because if you have a bunch of sales guys, one thing goes wrong, I mean,
Yeah.
quote unquote sales guys, dude, it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
You see it, right?
Yeah,
So
I do.
you're more of the calming of the storm because you're seeing it's like, dude, it's okay. Let's just correct it and make it better the next time.
Yes.
Because we'll just jump right off a cliff.
And when I first started in it, I was a huge control freak, right? So I wanted to do everything, right? And in reality is, yeah, I can do everything, but you're extremely inefficient. We're not going to grow, right? We're not going to get anywhere
Yeah.
with me doing all the work, right? So we had to give up the reins a little bit and have trust, right? I had to have trust in my team members, and I do.
It's huge.
I have all in, if I include myself, I have 9 people in my operation department. I love my operation department. They come in, they work, right? And they give me everything they got, and they know they do it. And they know that I'm always there for them. I always have their backs, help them in any way possible. But, yeah, in the beginning, I was a control freak of everything. And it was just like we weren't getting anywhere, right? So I had started giving up some of the job responsibilities and trusting people to do it.
Which is very hard.
It is.
That was tough for you as well?
Yeah,
But
no.
you've gotten better,
Yes,
obviously?
I've gotten better, and I really, like today, I'm here all day today, right? I'm not even thinking about what's going on there because I trust the people that are behind at the office that are going to get the job done that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I'm approachable, though. So,
Yeah,
like,
no
and
doubt.
I talk about it like in my department. I've done every job that they're doing, so I get it. I know what it feels like to sit in someone's seat and be a processor. I know what it feels like to be a closer. I know what it feels like to scrub files for pre-underwriting, what we call it. I get it. And I think people in my department understand that I've done it too as well. So they can come to me with issues and we'll resolve it.
Right.
But you have to also realize, like, you can't be a super control freak because there's so many things that are outside of your control. No matter what you do, it's going to happen. And it's like realizing that there is always a solution to it. And let's calm down. Let's take a look at it. And let's figure out what we're going to do, how we're going to solve this.
Yeah, we're going to dive deep, as deep as we can in terms of the systems. I want people to hear it and get into how they can not always replicate, but get pieces of you to help their business,
Yeah.
right? But I want to know again, so you went to Garden State, you were sales, right? Then
Well-
you moved to processing.
Yeah, so
Take me till today.
Yeah, so 2 today, right? So 3 stops altogether, right? So I had my initial company from 2003 to 2007. Went to a broker in 2007 to 2011.
Okay.
2011 is when I came to Garden State.
Okay, got you.
I
Okay.
came as a processor.
Okay.
I think there was one other girl there at the time, but then she left a little bit afterwards. So that was it. You're looking at it. That was the processor. We were doing,
It was a smaller company then.
we were doing 25, 30 units a month.
Was Casa there at the time?
He was.
Okay.
Yeah. So Anthony started it. But we weren't really consistent, right? There's a lot of peaks and valleys. You have a great month, maybe you do 40. The next month you do 20. And then you do 35, and then you're 17. And
That's
it's
a big
like-
issue for loan officers
it is.
in this world. Yeah.
And so, I was doing all the processing end of it, and, we'd have loan officers, they would originate the loan, and then I would do the submission, and that would be clearing the conditions, and that would get in the closing. Loan officers would help with conditions, right? And you're just creating an
chaos.
inefficiency. Yeah. And it's just like it's becoming stagnant, right? So it's like taking a step back now. It's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and submit this loan. I'm going to get 15 conditions. What if I just started to I know what they're going to ask for now. Why don't I start getting that stuff up front, right? So let's get this approval out with less conditions, right? And maybe I can handle more on the back end now. So it's kind of like the mindset of where it all came about. Because it's stressful, like coming from an operations standpoint.
Yeah.
Even as a loan officer, I'm sure it is. But you see your approval come out, and you got 15 conditions on it, you have like heart attack. You're like, oh my God, where am I going to? I'm going to spend my whole day here. I got to go back to this guy and ask for 15 things. He's going to say to me, why didn't you ask for that up front?
Yeah.
Right?
So did you guys have to go back and retrain loan officers? Or did you have to sell to them? Like, listen, if we have this system in place, it's going to make
so our big thing, so as you know, as being a loan originator, you have a small window to get that business, right? So I can't hit someone at initial disclosure with a list of 20 things I need because they're just going to check out, right? They're going to be like, all right, well, I'm not going to sign all this and gather all these documents right now.
Yeah.
This guy
So
over here is going to give me a similar deal, and he's only asking for like 3 things, right? So I'm going to go with that guy, right?
Right. Even though they're going to get hit with it later on, so it's a different,
Yeah, so it's like a psychology aspect to it, right? So you want to get the foundation, right? And I always taught the sales, and you give me a solid 1003, right? I call that the house. We're building a house here, right? So foundation. I can read a 1003 and I can figure out a lot of things from a 1003, what's going on, what they're trying to do. And you give me those minimum documents like a pay stub, W-2, and a bank statement.
twos, and twos. We usually call them,
Just give me those, and we're good. And technology these days has come along such a long way. Like, really doesn't take you a client long. Bank statements are archived online. Pay stubs are in a payroll portal with their W-2, right? And they can scan an ID to me if I need it, right? So it's getting that client into the door, and once they actually e-sign their disclosures, I have their minimum docs. Now they're in my house. Now I got them, right?
So in your world, at that point, you're trying to tell the LO to get out of the way for a minute?
Yeah, so we cut the cord, right?
Okay.
So this eliminates our peaks and valleys in our production, right? Multiple different things here is going on, and I'll explain. So a natural inclination for a loan officer, once a loan is approved or additional documentation is needed, they're talking to the client, and their nose thing is, you know what, that's probably not needed. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get that waived for you. Well, it really is needed, right? If we're asking for it, it's needed.
Sure,
right?
sure.
And I like to call that they're muddying the waters, right? Because now there's all kinds of miscommunication. Now I got a loan officer, I got too many too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, right.
So loan originated, disclosed, e-signed. My loan officer is gone. I don't need him anymore. Like, we got it.
You have to yell at Matty Boyce a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to fit him in here.
Matt,
Yeah. Calm down, Matty.
Yeah, go out to one of your lunches.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah.
All right, bro?
Go out to one of your lunches. Yeah.
Go to your happy hour. I got this.
Yeah,
bro,
right. In your Range Rover.
Yeah.
I know, Matty. Calling you out.
So, that's what we do. So it's like, okay, go get me more business, right? Because I have people. We have salaries, and this is real. It's real cost. It's fixed cost. I got to keep these doors open. I got to keep this thing going, right?
Yep.
Let's go. Let's get it going. So go get me more loans, right? So now the loan is into my pre-underwriting department. And this is where like all the scrubbing happens, right? So we in theory we have all our minimum docs that we asked for, and now we're putting the puzzle together, right? So depending on what the loan product is, obviously some products are dictated we have to go a certain way or not. We have a checklist, and the easiest way to explain it is, let's take a look at a file and don't look at it as Fannie or Freddie or anything like that. Just write a list, look at it and say, what are all these things we're going to need? And you write out a list and say you have 10 of them, right?
No matter what product it is, this is what you're going to need.
This is when we got 10 things. Okay, now I got my 10. Now let's cut that down to 5. What can I do here? If I go Fannie, if I send this thing to Fannie,
this is interesting. What you're
I
saying
can eliminate that, and that. Okay. But if I go Freddie, I'm still going to need all this. So it's a psychological aspect of going back to the client. If I go back to the client and say, I need all these things, if I give him 10 things, he's going to be pissed, right? If I give him 5, he's going to give it to me, right? And it's also an educational aspect at that point with the client. Why are we asking for things, right? So anyway, someone asks you for something, you're always natural inclination is, why do you need that?
Yeah.
Well, the underwriter's asking for it. Well, the answer sucks, right?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Horrible answer, right? But if
you hit them with some hardcore knowledge, they're going to back down and be like, all right,
well, here's the deal, sir. We're your type of loan, you're best suited to go in Fannie Mae. And the reason being is we're going to need 1 less year of tax returns because you are self-employed, but you're less than 5 years. LP is requiring 2 years. Using 2 years of tax returns doesn't really make sense for us. It's not going to help you, right?
The
only thing we're going to show a decline. If not, it's going to be averaged out, right? We're not going to do anything. So we're going to go DU with it. I got in my findings says I don't need 1 year tax returns. However, DU requires 2 months of bank statements, not one like Freddie. So that's why I need that additional bank statement, right? So it's educating the client and saying, why are we asking for these additional things? But yeah, it's trying to cut down that list of things and best suit it.
Yeah, and this goes to the type of people all right, I have written down here breaking the mold.
Yeah.
The typical processor in really just the mortgage world, we'll cut retail and all that out, but usually in the mortgage world, the processor is the one that just gets the conditions.
Yeah.
Here's what we put the file together. Like, forget the puzzle. Give it to the underwriter.
Yeah.
Underwriter spits something out. Go get the conditions. That's it. You guys have learned to hire, right? That you're empowering the quote unquote processor to do more things, like pre-underwriting, right?
Yes.
So that's what you were just talking about.
Yeah, and some
so if
people
we're getting into hiring, you're changing the game of what that next person in line should be doing,
and
right?
some people are like, oh, I'm just going to throw the file in there. I'll just let the underwriter tell me what I need to do. Well, that's not really a job. This is a job. This is a profession here.
Right.
Let's
this
be
isn't pushing
professionals.
papers. Yeah.
Let's do some research here. Let's learn, right? But yeah, it's breaking down the process step by step, and I'm not giving a processor an approved file with 30 conditions or 15 conditions, right? That's just, one, it's time consuming. How much can they actually close in a month if they have a file with 15, 20, 30 conditions, right? So October, great example. We fund that. So again, if I include myself, I have 9 operational people, 321 units, okay? Funded units, not closed, funded. My top processor did 110 of those. So imagine average approval for us is 3 to 4 conditions. That's it.
Wow.
So our goal in the pre-underwriting department, so this is after the loan is disclosed, e-signed in their apartment, is to have all income-related conditions gone. I don't want them on my initial approval. So outside of short appraisal, biggest deal killer is DTI, right? You blow your DTI out. So let's solidify that income. Let's make sure, if I got to hold off on submitting a file for a day because I got to go back and get another year of tax return, or I got to get an explanation on some loaded year-to-date earnings, or I need the written VOE, right? So some people will just go ahead and the guy's base plus bonus commission, they just throw it in there with an estimate of what they think it is based upon the W-2s, which don't really tell you much. And then they'll get the written VOE later after the loan already told the client that the loan's approved, then you get the written VOE back, and you got declining income out the yin-yang here.
Yep.
And then the loan's denied. Client's pissed off, right? So let's go and get that written VOE now, right? So underwriting turn times, 95% of our business is going to UWM. Underwriting turn times are an hour or less. I'll wait a day.
Dude, it's insane right now with them.
Like what?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Right? It's not like I got to submit this loan in and wait 2 weeks for it to come out. Right?
Right.
Yeah, I'll go get the written VOE. Let's use it. Within, just using UWM as an example, they have an income calculator built in every file, right? I mandate that my team uses it.
Hold on, there's an income. Where is that?
Calculator?
Like in there?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
It's in the income section. You don't ever use it?
I didn't know there was another
Actually,
piece.
Yeah, so here's a big thing about it. This is what I've learned from UWM. Only 3% of brokers use it.
Okay.
It's the same calculator that your underwriter is using.
So it's in the income part.
Yeah, go in the
Maybe
income.
and
it says income calculator. It's an orange tab at the top. Hit it.
Okay.
It opens up to another screen. Whether you're self-employed W-2, written VOEs, does all your income calculator. You plug it in.
I think we've been doing them manually before going in.
No,
it's right in there.
Yeah, it's built in there.
I'm like about to call my brother on
this. Do you guys use VOIs? Do you use them?
Oh, we use them like crazy,
dude.
Like
you're not using them.
Dude, it's insane. Like,
so our process with that is, so we search it real quick. The girl who does my disclosing, and as you do these more and more, you start to learn who's on the work number and who's not, right? You order them at disclosure. They're not processed until it's e-signed.
Right.
However,
yeah, we know that. Right.
Yeah, those things come back within a couple hours, right?
Really quick.
So by the time it's e-signed and flipped into my pre-underwriting department, the VOA is back already.
Yeah, that happens a lot with us.
Yeah, so we'll use it. If I get it, we go in the income calculator, we pull the VOI, we do the breakdown with that salary, bonus, commission, whatever it may be.
I just don't think I've used that because I'm the one disclosing and doing it all.
Yeah.
I just didn't see it, but obviously I know income, so I'm manually.
Dude,
right? So use it.
Yeah, you know how much? First of all, I'm sure UWM gets a great deal.
I
on
gotta
these
go,
things.
guy.
But dude, they're $35 a pop, and UWM's paying it,
and they're paying it.
Why not use it, right? I don't have to submit a pay stub or a W-2 now. It validates the income, right? Your DU or LP findings tells you whether it's validated. Tells you the income is going to use. Sometimes you got to go back and edit it and just match their income they gave you.
Right.
That's it. It's a done deal. Solidified.
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying not to jump off topic here, but we have to keep technology's great. Like we're going to dive into that, but we need to use that technology just to make. Because these are stupid little things that can free up hours of time.
Yes.
That's going to allow us to go back to the client, allowing your LOs to go get more business and have true advisory conversations
Yep.
with clients. Like that's the trickle down effect of efficiency and technology right now, right?
Yeah, it
that
is.
you're seeing.
Yeah.
Like you got to trust it though, right?
You do. And so there's the aspect. So the income calculator is really, really good for like self-employment borrowers because you get all kinds of warning
It's the
messages.
toughest ones, yeah.
Yeah, you get all kinds of warning messages. But I make sure people understand like you're not just reading off a tax return and plugging in the numbers, right? Let's understand like what. Let's learn how to do it. Let's understand it by hand, right? If that income calculator went away, we should still be able to do it on our own, like the way you're doing it now, manually doing it, right?
Right.
That's a great tool to have. You should be able to
We
do
should,
that.
right?
Yeah.
But why not?
I still do DTI by hand sometimes.
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah,
I
you-
bust
you
it
ever
out
just
real quick.
not
I just write
trust
it
it?
down.
Like you
yeah,
see it, I'm like,
something's not.
that looks weird. I'm gonna do this
I'm gonna do it by hand. I'm gonna write out my gross monthly income, my
Yep.
debts. I'm gonna do my calculator. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Right.
all online. Good.
Right.
Some people I'm sure in this industry don't even know how to even do it by hand.
Oh,
right?
I'm sure. Yeah.
But no, I do it. But yeah, it's breaking that process down. So like the pre-underwriting part, right? So I can go back to that.
Yeah, no doubt.
We want to get as minimal conditions out as soon as possible, right? So I want my senior out of the picture because let's let him move on to other income-related conditions. So, typical refi, I just got appraisal if it's needed, homeowners and title. That's it, right? Done. That loan then gets moved to my processor. So now my processor has an approved file with 3-4 conditions on it, right? My pre-underwriter's gone. Cord's cut. She is on to the next file that she has. She's no longer in communication with the client. There might be some collaboration between her and the processor.
Sure.
So it's a real funky file, and there's a weird income calculation. Or outside of that, no, they're on it. So that allows them to work their volume, and then allows my processor to work her volume. And the reason being is like you got to cut the cord is because there's also a redirection point to this. If a client, and it does happen, they get confused as loans move throughout the process because loans move fast.
Yeah.
And there are people throughout the place. If a client calls my pre-underwriter and that file's no longer in her queue, she's trained to push that call to the processor. Now, some people look at it as, oh, I feel like I'm kicking it down the line. You're not, because there may be a time period from that pre-underwriter to that processor, 3 days have passed. She has no idea what happened in those 3 days. Like my processor could have been working on something. I don't need her answering that call.
No,
you're just passing on. Sorry, Mrs. Jones. You're now files with this processor now. I'm going to go ahead and transfer you over there. If you happen to get her voicemail, just leave her a message and shoot her an email. She will get back to you.
Yeah.
And then she can keep going on.
and
She
clients
has- she
are
has the
fine
metal.
with that.
Yeah.
People want to be done the mortgage process. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Lisa Lund yesterday, and buying a house is like having a baby, right?
Yeah.
This is her point. When you find out, you're pregnant or you see the house,
Yeah.
it's exciting.
Yeah.
Going to the doctor, the mortgage process is like, getting checked up, the stuff you really don't want to do. And then at the end, you get the house where you have the baby, right?
Yeah.
It's the same. So what you're trying to do is let's just get this done.
Yeah.
I love talking to you and all, Mr. Client, but you really don't care about me that much. We just want to be in and get in your house.
Yeah.
So we can work on other things, right? True advice.
And it's, when you break it down that way, you're able to, these people can handle more files, right? Like my processor did 110 loans. She couldn't do 110 loans if she had conditions, 10 to 15 conditions.
Yeah.
This is not going to happen.
No.
So
And they're happier.
Yeah, I got 40 hours, right? So it's all about efficiency. Here's the way I look at it. I got 40 hours with each person in my department. That's all I ask for. Give me 40. I don't ask for anything more than that. If you want to work a little more than that, great. Love it. How do I maximize that time, right? So how do I eliminate certain things to allow them to handle more? And they're more successful because there's bonus structures and all that stuff. I love people. Make money.
Yeah.
Love it. Love paying bonuses. We're not a company that don't. Love it. I'll help you any way I can get you more bonuses, right? So we use things like processor assist, right? When that first came out, I belonged to a bunch of forums, and there was a lot of negative feedback to it, right? Oh, they're just trying to take my job. I know how to order a payoff and homeowners. I'm going to do it myself. No, it's about efficiency. So best thing here, right? Best thing for a payoff is automated system. It still takes you 5-10 minutes to go through a prompt system to plug in, to get to where you need to be, plug in the date you want it through, the fax number and all that crap. That's 5-10 minutes I could use on something else.
Right.
UWM, they're going to do it for me, and they're not going to charge me in for it. Go for it.
So you've been to UWM tons of times,
Yeah.
right? Looking at their system, right?
Yeah.
They have a whole team that for the ordering payoffs
Yeah.
that are doing the calls?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's their pod.
Yeah,
that's
they
their
have
job.
that pod.
That's their job.
Cool.
So you're going to do it for me for free.
Mm-hmm.
I can save 5-10 minutes. People are like, oh, it's only 5-10 minutes is a lot.
That's a ton of time.
That's another one file, maybe
Mm-hmm.
2 files you can look at, or maybe it's a return phone call you can make,
Mm-hmm.
or a return email for a client, right? Or getting that additional documentation. You got it today instead of tomorrow, and now you got that uploaded, and that file is going to be reviewed tomorrow versus the next day, and that's one day closer to closing, right?
Yeah.
Because the reality of the situation is we need to get these loans. Like, we're volume based. I need these loans closed. One, I don't need someone, other lender calling them, telling them they can give them a better deal, or client checking out, not wanting to do the deal anymore, whatever it may be. I need these people gone, right? Gone, out of here.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You need them gone.
Yeah.
Because you're volume based, you have a smaller margins,
Yes.
right? Like we talked about,
Yep.
and obviously you need volume to do that.
I do.
You got fixed income. You have an operation of 9 people.
Yeah.
Like you need them in, you need them out.
Yeah.
And everyone's cool with that.
Everyone's cool. and we use process assist for everything, like payoffs, condo docs. Like, I hate getting condo docs. Like,
Dude, that's the best. The condo ones,
Yeah.
that has saved so many files for us because
Yeah.
there's so many people you have to talk there and get the right stuff, and
yeah,
that's
you gotta
all
cut a
they do.
check, and you got to overnight it. You got to do this. You got to do that. It's like, dude, it's like going through different portals.
And there's times that it doesn't. We need the processor still needs to kind of make sure processor assist is doing their job too, right?
There's some fall off.
You know what I mean?
There is.
But it's their job to just take ownership of the file, and it's okay
Yeah.
to use that
And
piece
you
to
don't-
make your job
like, we
easier.
don't rely on it fully, right? So
Right.
let's say it's not going the way it's supposed to go, right? We're capable of ordering our own payout, so we could take the bull by the horns here and just do it ourselves, right? Say, process, thank you for trying. I got it from here, right?
Right.
I'm good. But yeah, it's going back to that and using those tools to make myself more efficient, right? Because there's only a certain amount of time, and that's all I got. Same thing with the VOIs. Like, that's why we use the VOIs.
They're huge.
Yeah. So my overall goal too is, like, let's take a look. Like, we'll crush like a New Jersey refi, right? I got a PIW on it. Awesome, right? So that's my trump card here. So that's like,
Yep.
I got PIW. That's where I'm going, right? I'm saving my client money. That's the biggest aspect, of it, right? So I save $470 if it's single
Whatever it
family.
is.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, too, I don't have to worry about some like stupid repair that the appraiser is going to point out and give my borrower stress and piss them off, right? That's now gone. So yeah, we got a PIW, we order hit VOI, got a hit on that. We order payoff and homeowners only on PIW files. We do this
Okay.
at submission.
At
So,
submission.
upload it.
Okay.
Boom. Go in the system. Order my payoff. Order my homeowners. Jersey, most of them I could pull my taxes online. Pull my taxes. My pre-underwriter's pulling them. Going to the WIPB website. Pulling it. Putting it in our submission package. Loans approved. I'm already CD eligible. So I got a PIW. I got a loan approval. My taxes are online. Processor Assist got my homeowners. I actually got my payoff back. So now my CD's going out with the correct payoff amount, right? Number one complaint from a client is, I got my CD on my refi, and now I get to closing, and my cash to close is so much higher. Why is that? Oh, we didn't have your payoff back yet. Well, now I got it because Processor Assist got it for me. They uploaded it to the system, so by the time the underwriter jumped in the file,
They have a
boom.
very accurate CD at this
Yeah,
point.
my escrows are correct because I got my taxes.
All right, so what is the quickest one one you've been cleared? Like, what's the quickest one? Do you have one?
There's been ones I've held up on because I'm still on the 7-day initial waiting period.
Oh, you're just waiting for
yeah,
the
I'm
7
sitting
day,
there. I'm waiting for the 7-day to clear.
and then they're done. You know,
they're
8
done.
day, they're closed.
Yeah,
You can
closed.
literally set up closing.
Yeah, I've done exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive even deeper then, because you're working on the operation side, but you're part of sales too, everything,
Yeah.
right? Could you let us know from kind of start to finish what you're using? Like, we could take Boyce for instance, right? Like, what's his POS? Like, did you help with him to figure out what to use in front of the sales that flows the ops?
So we use Blink a lot.
Okay.
And, I don't. I'll be honest with you, I don't love it from the application standpoint. However, from our operational side, I think it's phenomenal with doc upload. One, I get notified, right? So
Okay.
you can condition the client out, right? So you can label all your conditions individually. As they upload those conditions, I get notifications, right? Also, too, you can message within there. And I'm big on that because phone calls are great, but they're also a waste of time. So let's say I need a pay stub. It's easier for me to condition someone in the Blink portal for the pay stub and send them a message than get on the phone with them. Because I get on the phone with them and ask them for a pay stub, and now it starts going into the weather or something else, right?
Bunch of BS.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then let's talk about this, let's talk about that. And next thing you know, you're 15, 20 minutes into a phone call about a pay stub.
All with small talk.
All small talk, yeah. So again, it's all going back to that time. So let's use that portal. It's secure. Let's upload to it. Go in there and grab it.
And that's in
download.
Blink.
That's
right?
in Blink, yeah.
Because we use another point of sale, but we've looked at Blink too.
Yeah.
But only because I've used it with other companies and it's flowed, and it's just what we know right now. But so there's messaging in there. We were talking about text messaging as well. I mean, just get right to the point.
Exactly.
You're an efficiency guy.
Let's be honest. It's all about efficiency, yeah.
You're just
but
trying
again,
to
the
save
personal
time.
touch of phone calls are great. Sometimes they're needed, right?
Of
Sometimes
course.
you just got to talk it through.
Of
Like
course.
they're not understanding what's needed, so they got to get on the phone, right?
Okay.
But for the majority of the stuff, you don't need to. And it's just, it turns into the small talk, which is, again, you're building a relationship, but it's time. That's, I have a limited amount of it. I don't have a huge department. I have a lot of volume.
Well, you guys are lean. You have a lot of volume, but you're running lean.
Yeah.
So you already cut margins for the most part.
Yeah.
But it's a business. You have
We
to
do make a
spread it
phone
out.
call. Like when we condition something, we make a phone call like, hey, we put some conditions in the Blink portal for you. Take a look at them. Let us know if you have any questions, right? You can message us back, email us back, whatever.
Okay.
And everyone has their different things. Some people, there's times where I don't even talk to a client during the process. Everything is just through email, texting, Blink messaging.
Oh yeah, there's clients I haven't spoke to. They found me on Facebook, so they message me on Facebook. I get their info. I literally haven't talked to them.
Yeah.
And there's probably times I'm like, "Do you want to talk?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah, I'm
Trust
actually
you,
a
I
big
see
person.
you.
Like I was recently shopping for a car, and I was just like, she's like, "Oh, you want to call me?" Nah, I'm good. We can just email me.
Yeah, it's fine.
Text me, whatever. Yeah,
I'm cool.
Yeah, I got a lot of things going on.
Yeah,
like,
what do you want from me? And people do too.
Yeah.
And everything you're doing, and I'm trying to hammer this home, is everything you're doing is trickling down to the sales, the front end who gets the business, which trickles down to the client because that's where everything's going. They want it more efficient.
Yeah.
And you're saving time for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's like you hear all the sales versus ops. Like that's in mortgage companies. And it's usually a battle. It's like this.
It is.
No, you guys are really intertwined.
Yeah, and
everything going.
there are some times, right? There's you do run into some headbutting, right? Operations
sure.
and sales. There's always a little bit of it, right? And a lot of it's culture.
But I've seen companies go under just because
Yeah.
of little efficiencies that could have been done because sales and ops are just totally cut.
Yeah.
Like they're
and
not friends
and
at
you
all.
do, and so when I notice certain things occurring, even though I'm the CEO of the company, I don't go directly to the salesperson and say, you got to do this, this, and this. I go to their manager. And it's a trickle. It's a thing. It's his department. I respect it. I put it in charge of it. He's running it. And I let him go back to the loan officer because they're his people. And he'll come to me. It's like, hey, this is what I'm getting from the sales guys. Can you take a look at it? And I'll do the research. And I'm not a very reactionary person because I think sometimes sales people can be like,
well, that's what we're saying.
Yeah,
they can
we're
be jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, the processor, they're not doing anything on it. They're doing this. I'm like, hold up.
Yeah.
Let me go in the file.
Let's see what's
'Cause
up.
I got all the notes. We have inter-office communication.
Okay.
I see emails. I can see everything. And then I find out, no, that wasn't the case. This is what happened. But there are some people that fly out the handle and then would go over the processor and just be like, wait, are you saying sales is saying you're not doing your job?
Yeah.
No, I'll do the research first. And maybe they are right? And you learn it, use it as a teaching mechanism where, hey, you know what? I get it. You're busy. This is what we missed on this. Let's be more aware of this.
So you're talking shit on sales right now.
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to start a battle. Sales versus ops right now. No, I'm kidding. All right, so getting back. So Blink's the front end from the sales. I'm trying to see how it flows through.
Yeah, so there's Blink, right? So Blink.
That's UWM's.
Yep.
Okay.
But
there's a bunch out there.
Yeah, and you can use Blink for non-UWM stuff. It's
correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just put the 3.2 in there, and the file's in there, it lives in there, and you can message and you can upload.
Have you had any input on the other things that the salespeople use? I keep bringing up Boyce because I know him.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of different things that he uses on the front end as well with his realtors and whatnot.
Yeah, he
Can
does
you
a
dive
lot.
into that at all, or you don't really?
I don't really know.
Okay.
That's more
fine.
of his stuff
Okay.
that he does, and he's talked to me a little bit about it. But yeah, there's a couple different mechanisms he has for the realtor side of it. But from an origination standpoint, so we have Blink, and then we obviously use Salesforce. Salesforce is a big thing.
Can we talk about that a bit? How
Yeah.
you built Salesforce? Because that's a big blank slate. That's tough.
I'm not gonna be honest with you. I mean, we can't do the volume without it. So the volume we do. So Salesforce, we got it in 2016. So here's a little tidbit about 2016. So prior to this year, 2016, August of 2016, we did 302 units for like $100 million.
How many LOs?
About 16. We had like 10 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it was around 10.
It's impressive, man. It's a lot of units.
However, we were working 15, 20 hours.
Right.
So here's my schedule, right?
Yep.
So then
This is
2016.
2016.
Yeah, surprised I'm still married at this point. My son was born in March of 2015.
well, rains
and
are pours, we all know this.
I missed a good part of his life here.
Yeah.
We were so my schedule was I'd get in by 8 a.m. I would leave at 6, back to the office by 9:30, 10, leave at 3 in the morning.
Oh, whoa. Okay. So 8 in the morning till 6, go home, go back another 3.5 hours later. Then, holy shit. Okay.
Yeah. So did that for like pretty much the whole year.
Was it just because it was all chaos and you're just trying
chaos.
to catch up and there was nothing?
we were-
What were you using? You didn't have Salesforce, or you did?
We did not have Salesforce.
Okay.
Paper files, Calyx, UWM, NYCB, Ethos. I hate Ethos. MB Financial, loans all over the place.
Oh,
we didn't even know where
I got
we
you.
didn't even know where a loan was, right? So I wasn't even charged. Like I was just a regular processor. It was quasi management type of thing. It
Yeah.
was pure chaos.
There was
dude.
no defined roles. It was everywhere.
Yeah, so if someone came back and said, "Hey, where's my file at?" I don't know. Go look in the piles. Like someone's got it. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no system to track it. Man.
And I want to point out it was pure chaos.
Pure chaos.
And Anthony was the owner.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making
Pure
sure.
chaos. And they're like, "Hey, what's going on the phone?" I have
had to
no
take a shot
idea,
at
bro.
it. Yeah.
No
Okay.
idea.
Yeah.
So fast forward to October 2019, 321 units for 102 million. You'd walk through my office and wouldn't even know that we were doing 321 units, working 40 hours
All
a
right.
week.
So that's really cool. So around the same amount of units, much better lifestyle for everyone
Everybody.
involved.
Less hours.
This is a lifestyle business.
Yeah.
Right? You could
Yeah.
work 24/7 if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But we're here to make money and get the clients done and have a
So
okay, go ahead.
Our big make it or break it point was 2017. So we went. This is all at one time. We hired. It was overall. I guess it's positive when I look at it as a positive. We hired a massive amount of people, and I think of all the people that are there, I think we hired like 15 people at one time. Of all those people, I think maybe 2 are still there to this day. We went paperless, and we went to Blink and Salesforce, all at the same time, and hired people, most with 0 experience.
Right.
The hiring thing, just a complete failure. Salesforce saved us. We're still adding on to it, building it out. But I know where file is at every single point of the process.
So your
Like,
system's kind of proprietary.
yeah.
It's Salesforce based.
Salesforce, yeah.
A lot of people don't know this. You can't just people think Salesforce like, oh, CRM, yeah, done.
Oh, no, this is not.
No, it's not even close.
No.
So if you're a small, like you guys went balls to the walls with this, but a
Yeah.
lot of small companies out there, Salesforce isn't the way to go.
No, it's
Maybe
expensive.
It's expensive. Well, Salesforce with the CRM that might be attached, whatever
Yeah.
it is. But go ahead.
So anytime, let's say someone calls me, it's like, some sales, in reality, they can look at Salesforce and see where their file's at.
Right.
Most of the time, they just call and say, "Hey, you know what's going on with this file? It's in Salesforce, buddy." So
Yeah,
give me
I
a
gotcha.
second. Log
Yeah,
in there. Like,
yeah.
Okay, your file's with so and so. This is how many conditions you have left. This is your rate lock expiration. This is your closing date. This is your loan amount. This is the property address, email
Yep.
address, phone, whatever,
Simple view.
everything.
Yeah. Because you base a lot, I mean, let's be honest. We're always loving UWM, right?
Yeah.
You guys took a lot of what they've done, right?
Yeah, we
And
do.
kind of
Mimic
just
it.
you mimic it because they're successful.
Yeah, and we break down their process. Like we break it down the same way. Like they have underwriter 2s, they have seniors, they have team leads.
Yeah, I
and
noticed
all
that. I
stuff.
wasn't sure if you were talking about UWM or Garden State, but you have it the same type of way. You
Yeah, we
mimic
break it down because
Okay.
underwriter 2s have certain responsibilities. Seniors clear certain conditions, so it's kind of similar to the way we do it. It's
Got it.
like our pre-underwriters do all the submissions and they do all the
Got it,
cleanup.
okay. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then they get the processing and then they finish it off because your underwriter 2 is finishing your file at UWM. Like they're doing the final sign off. If all your income stuff's gone, like they're clearing appraisal, they're clearing title, they're clearing homeowners, like a letter of explanations, all that stuff. As long as it's
Okay.
not income related, your senior's gone. Like
Got
it's
it.
not needed. Huge advancement for us, and we were on the pilot program. which has been around for now, is UClose 2.0. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. I actually have a person that's dedicated just to closing.
I never saw UClose 1 because we got in. We
Okay.
just started generating
Good for
income
you.
in March this year, so we went right to UClose 2. Dude, like, now we're a real small shop. It's me and
Yeah.
my brother right now. So I'm handling from start to finish. So I'm the closer. I'm everything. But we would not have survived this year if we didn't have those tools. 100%.
No, I agree. Like, one, customer experience, I wouldn't be able to give some files without it. I wouldn't be able to do the volume I'm doing, right? Because you would upload your CD, and I think it was like, I don't know, it was SLA, it was like a couple hours for them to review it, right?
Okay.
Always the worst was, you do a lot of purchase business, you see this, it's constant CD changes at the table. Oh, we're at closing, seller paid this, I got to change my proration, or I got to add this. Send me a revised CD. I'm going to go ahead and upload it. This is a table for an hour until a closer goes in and fixes it. Well, that process is gone. I got 2.0. Send me your CD real quick. What's the proration you need? Okay,
Done.
boom. Go in there, click it, save
Generate it, view it, boom, send it.
Gone.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Or you get something late at night. I get an email at 9 o'clock at night from the closer. Like, oh my God, I totally forgot about this HOA fee. We're closing at 9 a.m. Can you do it? Yeah, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to log on my computer real quick, add it, save it, boom, done. Here's your CD.
Yeah, people are going to get annoyed with me about to say this because I say it every podcast. But in terms of, because you've been on the bank side as well, but people think broker, still a dirty word, that we don't have control.
Yeah, that's what.
No, we have more control.
What they always say on the other side is, oh, my underwriter sits down in the hall for me. What's that mean?
What's that even
What's
mean?
that mean? What's that mean?
Yeah, because they're just working step by, and I'm not trying to bash.
No,
this is
I'm
so
not.
complex.
But it doesn't.
But
like,
it's no. We have a lot more control, like you just said at the end, like a HOA thing, whatever you can pop in, done.
Yeah.
There's like this. I've seen title companies are coming to us and saying that was the easiest thing I've ever done. Right now, we control it. So I give them. I ask for their CD. I match it up. Do we match? Yes. I'm going to give you the package. I literally give them the package and like that's it. I'm like, yeah, don't even go in the portal right now. I don't feel like
Dude, I
teaching
follow
you.
the same model, man.
You know, I just do it on our own. I was yelling at my brother.
People were complaining about it. They're like, I can't get title. Hates the portal. Don't even put them in the portal. Why?
They don't even put them in.
I mean, they were like, oh, it's so difficult. Difficult. It's basic math here.
Yeah, my brother yesterday, we're transitioning to, he's going to be more sales. He's right now processor, LOA, doing a ton of different things. But he's like, man, this is kind of a pain in the ball. Just because he didn't know. He's like, they have to go in, they have to attest and submit. I'm like, no, you don't. Yeah. You can attest and submit and send the package. He's like, what? I'm like, just handle it.
And
move on.
And you look from a customer experience, right? So this is where UClose 2.0, people undervalue it. You can have an incredible process, right? From origination to clear to close, the day before closing. And you need that CD change on the day of closing.
What's the last thing
and your
someone
borrower
remembers?
wants to sit there for an hour and stare at a seller or stare around and like look at their watch. They got
How
movers
awkward
coming.
is that?
And then they're pissed now. They're like, well, JP, you did an awesome job of them, but I sat around the table for an hour.
That's the last thing they're going to remember.
Yeah. And then that's
only
their
thing.
takeaway. That's their takeaway. And they're like, their friend's like, oh, how was my? Yeah, you know, I guess maybe you could use him. I mean, he was really good, but we sat around the table for like that little thing
I'm
right
getting
there.
so much anxiety right now.
There.
With
It
you saying
kills
that.
you. It kills you.
We've all
so
been there.
take control. Like UW, it's like, we're letting you do it. Great, love it. So like the way I did it, like any type of process we come in, this is a term I like to use. It's called living in the environment, right? And this kind of goes back to what I said before. Like I've done every job at Garden State. Whether it's to pre-underwrite, process, close, whatever it may be. So anytime like a test pilot like this comes out, I do it. I don't like send it out to my team like, hey guys, try this out, give me your feedback, right? So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to check this thing out. I'm like, the overall concept is great, but let me see how really good it is, right? So I think we got in like September of 18, or it was October of 18. So for 4 months, I did all the packages. And at the time, I don't think you couldn't do VA loans because of non-allowable fees. They were still building that out. Yeah. But you know, 9 out of 10 packages I was doing. Right?
Is there anything new on the horizon
for that?
For anything at UWM or any other companies that you're using that you see that you've been testing? Not that you can get into.
Yeah, I mean,
too
no.
much,
Right now, there's nothing that, you know, UWM made some changes to their change of circumstance process, which is great. I still get some lenders where you got to like fill out a form and like you scan it in or email it in. It's like, dude, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
we won't say
technology.
the names, but yes. Yeah.
It's like UWM, 2-click, boom, 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 COC's like boom, fires out, LE goes out, or whatever. But no, I mean, there's nothing like major like that was something I was really excited about, and they asked me to be on the pilot for it. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll give you honest feedback. I'll take, I still have notes. I think I actually used to handwrite down the closing I did because it was just old school me. But I think I ended up doing like 2,000 some closings.
You were the closer.
I was the closer.
Yeah.
So I tested it and it was great. And so we actually have a guy now. He's just dedicated to it, and we do so much volume with them that I can make sense for me to have a closer. That's all he does. He was actually an intern for us, and he graduated, and we brought him on, and I was like, this guy would be perfect.
Cool.
So it was baby steps though. Like, I didn't turn over full control of him because he didn't have a full grasp of the mortgage industry. But the closing portal is not crazy. So I would let him do the fee entry, right? Then I would review the CD and I would finalize the package. And then
baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps with it. And then as we progress along, I'd give him another task, and then without me overwatching him. And then it took like, I don't, when I do these type of things, I don't say, all right, within 2 weeks, I want you full go. We'll just let it play out. Let's just see where this goes. Like, are you grasping it faster? Maybe it's 2 weeks. Maybe it's 2 months. Maybe it's 4 months. So it ended up being like 3 months, right? Totally cool with that. And that's another thing too. Like, when I do these things, I don't set like a hard deadline. Like, I need this pre-underwriter up and running on their own within a month. That's not realistic. Like, I don't know. People have different learning curves. They grasp things different.
Yeah.
Just because that person doesn't grasp it fast doesn't mean they're not going to be really good later on. Like, take the time.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, take the time with them. Like, let them understand it. And then, you know how things work. Like, there's sometimes that I don't understand, and this is the same thing like when I was in college. Like, I was like, dude, I just don't get like how they're doing it. And then one day,
it clicks.
Light bulbs go off, like, oh.
And then you're flowing.
Boom, you're gone. Like that, you picked up that one little thing, and then you just blow through the rest of it, right?
Yeah. Well, that leads me to the next part, right? So hiring, firing, training.
Yeah.
Right? Are you guys actively hiring now support or ops staff?
So cool story. So this is the first ever, and it worked out.
Okay.
We had a client who closed with us, I think it was like August or September. And so we were high. We had an active job ad up for a pre-underwriter. I need one more pre-underwriter.
And this is a client?
This is a client.
All right, cool.
So we have a couple ads up, and we had been interviewing people, interviewing. And, it just wasn't, we're not like a person just to hire someone, right? So I want to make sure we kind of have our internal process. So a girl who handles our HR stuff does the first interview. If she feels they're worthy, they come back for a second interview with me. The third interview is I bring my whole operations team in. I leave, and they just communicate.
Okay.
So it's because we're big on culture. Like, I got people. Listen, you don't have to hold hands on the weekends and drink wine together. And
but when you work, you
each other.
work and you hang.
Yeah. So you're in a close environment. You're in a stressful environment, regardless of however process is. Mortgage is stressful.
It is
stressful. You get stressed from the client calling you, doing this and that, and sometimes things come down to the end, whether it's your mistake or not. Sometimes client just drags out, and you're under a tight deadline. Things could be stressful, and it's like people have to respect each other's space and get along. Again, you don't have to call each other on the weekend and hang out and go to the movies together. Like, I don't expect that, right?
No.
But everyone likes everyone. So that's why we kind of brought that model into that last interview, and it's just kind of like a feeling out process. Like, okay, do you think you could sit with this person for 40 hours a week and work with them?
You have levels of hiring.
Yeah.
It's not just
it's
bring
not like,
in, yes,
oh,
great.
yeah, this looks great. Yeah, I like you, so let's hire you.
Yeah.
Because they might
level
not
here.
like you.
Yeah.
And there's been times where I brought someone in and I liked them, and someone on my team was like, I worked with that person before.
Oh,
and they're like, don't hire her. She's not as good as she says. These were her problems. And then I respect it. I didn't hire her.
Okay.
Because like that creates tension, and that little situation
so
can,
important.
Like spread through my department.
So
right?
Did you hire that client?
So
Yeah.
So back to that story. So
like waiting on
we
pins and
actually
needles
got it.
over here.
So she didn't come through our normal. I think we had an ad up on LinkedIn. She didn't come through there. She just happened to randomly apply through. We have like a careers page on our website.
Yeah.
And she sent it up. I still remember it. And it was forwarded to me at night. They're like, take a look at this. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is our client.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, well, this would be a cool story if it worked out. I'm like, let's just bring her in for an interview. So anyway, so she has no experience, but she is at a job now where she's been at for 5 years, and she's maxed, right? She has nowhere to go any higher, right?
She's
so
almost bored, probably, right?
So she's looking for something different, and she went through the process and she loved it, right? She loved the whole home buying. She's actually owned at this point, I think, 1 or 2 homes, so she kind of gets it from that perspective. If anything, from the interview about hiring her, I wanted to get her in because I wanted to see how was your experience.
Yeah.
Tell me,
right.
Tell me. Be honest with me, where did we suck? Right. That's always the first question I ask. I don't ask like, hey, you
Tell
loved
me
it,
how
right?
awesome I am.
Yeah, tell awesome I am, right? No, tell me where I suck at. What didn't you like? What didn't you understand? And and be completely honest, everything was great. She didn't have a bad experience at all. But anyway, so we went after her and we got her, and she's starting in January.
Oh, just coming up?
Yeah.
Like in a month, for 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, 2 weeks from now she's starting.
That's awesome.
So it's kind of a cool story.
And what role will she be in?
Pre-underwriting.
Pre-underwriting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So going to our training thing. So, overall we're a small company. I think we're 25, 30 people all in. I don't, at this point right now, I don't have the capability of putting someone into a training room to sit for 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks and train someone, right? It's not feasible. So we do a lot of hands-on training. Be honest with you, I tend to think people learn better that way. Like, because you can go in there in a training room and talk about stuff, but let's get some live action here, right? Let's get some live action. Yeah. But we build processes internally. We have escalation processes internally. And if I can go back to pre-underwriting and get a better idea of what we do, regardless of how long you've been in my company, if a file falls in a certain criteria, it requires a second set of eyes before it goes into underwriting.
Okay.
So let's take a pure example. Conventional file, LTV doesn't matter. DTI is 45 to 50 range, right? Let's get a second set. Let's get someone else to take a look at this.
To make sure.
Yeah, we have a button within Salesforce, click it, second review, it goes into a queue. So it's either myself or my pre-underwriting lead, which I have in that department, either herself or I will be reviewing that pre-underwriter's work. So we're going to go through and make sure she's doing her income calculation correct, make sure she has the taxes in there. If it's a condo, let's make sure we got dues in there, all that stuff. Because you don't want to send the file in and then you miss something and then it gets suspended or denied on initial underwrite, right? Because those files are sensitive, like 45 to 50. Like you can jump out of that range real fast. That's just one of the examples of the escalations. Anything that has like a derogatory event in a bankruptcy, foreclosure, short sale, that's someone else let's make sure we're meeting our waiting periods, right? Because that's a common thing that's missed. Like you see the bankruptcy and you're like,
is there a trigger or anything in like Salesforce where these type of list of things that need another set of eyes, like, or is that just a feel thing?
No,
like
so
someone needs to go.
Yeah,
That's the rule.
the rule is like, so obviously you're working through the file and you're done with it, right? You're like, okay, this thing's ready to go in underwriting. But I'm looking at it, like, okay.
You feel something.
Yeah, my DTI is high. It's in that 45 50 range. So that automatically requires it. However, any file that you're not 100% comfortable with,
then you also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I get people to check my work. Like I'm my pre-underwriting team lead.
You have
like,
to. You're
like
moving
I have
so
way
quick.
more experience than her. However, at this point right now, she can do income better than me because she lives in it every day and does it. I'm like, I manage a lot of different things. So sometimes I go to her, like, because I pull files again. This is like living in the environment. I pull files and I pre-underwrite just to get a feel of it, like what's coming in and if anything has changed. And I'll send it to her. Like, hey, can you double check my work? I don't care. I'm not,
No.
I want it right. Like, I'm not like,
let's move on. Again, let's get them in and out.
I'm the CEO of the company. I do everything right. No, I messed up, dude, a million times.
Yeah.
I will for the rest of my life. Like, that's the reality of things. But yeah, so sometimes if you're not comfortable with it, let's get a second set of eyes on it. And so, yeah, there's that internal escalation process to where, sometimes that underwriting lead's like, yeah, I think you're right, but no, let's have Chris look at it. Right? Get a third set. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, let's get it right.
Let's do it quick. Let's do it efficient and get you out the door like we've been talking about.
So that's kind of where we're at with, like, she's coming on board and she's going to have zero experience. But she seems to be a go-getter. And, yeah, we'll build it out slowly. All her files, anyone that's new, regardless of experience, so let's wipe that part out of it. So whether you have 1 year, 2 years, 15 years experience, I require every one of your files to be reviewed.
Doesn't
by
matter
someone.
what.
I don't care how long you've been in the industry, right? Let's say if I replicated myself and put myself into a new position, I would make myself be reviewed.
Review yourself.
Yeah, and sometimes, maybe I can let that person go on their own within 2 weeks, a month, 2 months. Again, timelines. I'm not held to it. I'm not saying I want this person up by a month.
Sure.
No. People have different learning experiences. Like, we do things differently. I want them to fully grasp how we do things, what they should be looking for, and if it takes a little bit longer, so be it. Like, they end up in the end, they're going to be really good to this team member, and like, this is what I need, and this is what we do. And then, once that removal process comes out, and I don't require a review on every single one of their files, the normal escalation process comes in, and they're in that
cool.
DTI range. Yeah, let's get a second set of eyes.
Nice. All right, so we got like 5-10 minutes left.
All
right, we could talk about this for hours,
I
right?
think so. Years.
But from the ops side, right?
Yeah.
Where do you see? Yeah, forget about the sales side for a minute. Where do you see operations going in the next couple of years? I mean, we're already with UWM and the things you're doing. Do you see anything else changing? What do you see coming down the road for your side?
Yes, I mean, down the road, I think a lot of things are become automated. Obviously, right now, so the big things I touched on previously, right? The verification of income. I think at some point that is going to grow. Like, right now, you're getting hits on the work number, right? And I've come to learn there's, oh my God, like 5 or 10 different companies out there now that do this. You can pull the information online, right? Automate it. I think that's going to expand. I think eventually, right now, and it's not, but like government type of files, VA, FHA.
Okay.
They don't allow this automated underwriting, this automated income.
Yep.
I think they'll
They
start
will at some
dabble
point?
into it. Yeah.
Okay.
It just becomes more efficient, becomes a faster process because the way everything's going is instant gratification, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
I see it with my kids too. Like, all this tech out there, and they want things now. It's like my kids are on their iPads doing this and this. Like, Dad, you do this. I'm like, dude, like, guys, like, this didn't even exist. Like, when I was here, like, we didn't have this stuff. But yeah, I think it's going to become a lot. Like, technology is going to dominate, and the scary part about it is there's so many companies so far behind on tech right now. But it's a driver, man. It allows you to do what you want to do. It allows you to scale. Allows you to do more volume with less people.
And give better results to the client in terms of advising. That's where I keep getting back to. That's where I love technology. It's going to allow me to get in deep with the client and with their family and what their goals are. That's something a robot can't take away.
Yeah.
But if we can be efficient with all the crap that needs to be done, it's going to trickle down to the client.
Yeah, like your client could fill something out and be done with it, right? I can pull all their information, their income, their tax returns, their assets, all that stuff. Like, we actually don't dabble into the verification of assets. Here's a story. So I was at the UWM, this is a couple years ago. This is before Blink rolled out. We were in a conference room, like, oh, we're going to roll out this Blink portal. And in there, we're going to have this verification of assets. And I just remember, like, raising my hand, like, no one's going to fill that out.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I'm like, I wouldn't do it. But people do it. People go in and plug in their bank stuff.
And it's directly uploaded to the underwriter?
Yeah, but the problem...
So I kind of want control of that, right?
Yeah, the problem with that is it's something I may revisit this year because I'm not fully up on it, but at the time they were pulling 90-day history. Like, I don't need 90-day history.
No, it's not what you said.
Yeah, we were doing it, and like, we were hitting deposits, that were like day 77, 78, 80.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Shooting yourself in the foot.
Dude, that's creating more work. So, yeah, if you can get it down to the period of actually what you need, whether it's 30 days, 60 days, whatever it may be, I don't know. I'm just still, maybe, again, I'll look at it again this year. But, I mean, that's, maybe they'll probably fine-tune that where you don't have to go get bank statements anymore and all that stuff. But, yeah, I think a lot of it is tech and auto and not needing the client to be so involved with their information.
Cool.
But, no, it's funny, like, Apple has a commercial out right now, and it's like, I've every time I watch it, it gets me every time. It's the one where you actually, at this point right now, have more personal information on your phone than you do in your home, right? So it's like, the thing that got me most was like your heart rate at the gym that day, right? Like, that's on your phone. Like, and it's like, whoa, like, this is where tech's going. Like, everything is at your hand.
Right at your hands.
Yeah.
All right, one thing for someone in your role, operations side, that you can give to someone that runs that side. Again, we've been talking a lot with sales, but someone in your position, whether it's with hiring or training, what's one thing you can give everyone out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is looking to become more efficient and stuff. Like, sit back and take a look at your process. Put yourself in the consumer part of it, right? Because we're all consumers at some point, Even if we're doing our own mortgage, we're technically a consumer, right?
Yeah.
So what is your experience? How would you want things to go, right? So you look at it as like, okay, like how do I make this more efficient? How do I not burden the client? Because the reality is clients have normal lives, they have families, they have jobs, and if you're constantly hounding them and bothering them, it's frustrating. But yeah, it's taking a look in that process, like how do I become more efficient? How can I close a loan faster? How can I do more volume? Like actually thinking about it and breaking it down and departmentalize things. Like I eventually look at like Garden State, I want to departmentalize it more than what I have in right now. Like maybe I'll get to a point where I get someone strictly that's my income person, right? So we do some things too. Like this area I want to grow out on is our scenarios desk. So it's a templated distribution email that we have at the company, and this loan officer gets a TBD scenario, and it's funky. It's tax returns. I don't require my loan officers to do income calculations. You email it in. You can attach it to the email, or we have our paperless docs store system. Send an email like, here's my situation. So it goes to myself, my other pre-underwriter, and my pre-underwriter lead. One of us will go in there and do the income calculation, and then we'll notate the file like, hey, if you go DU, this is your income. If you go LP, this is your income.
That's cool.
I would stick with LP because you're going to get more income out of it. So make sure you set it up that way prior to, and then it comes in. Doesn't always come in the way it should be.
Doesn't always do.
My pre-underwriters will be the first one to tell you that. But
you gonna
I told him.
You're gonna barcode it too? Oh yeah, I told him.
I told him to go LP, and he submitted it to you. Can you believe that?
Well, there you go. Sales versus ops. We'll leave it at that. There's always gonna be a fight. Yo, thanks, man. Appreciate it. That was Chris Topher
Pell.
Thanks, man.
All right, thank you.